Okay, so hello guys. This is part 2 of this week's topic. So we have RNA viruses part 2, no? Viruses of medical and public health importance. So uh, as usual, our learning objectives would be for you to be able to classify the structure, classify viruses, no? Classify them according to their characteristics and structures. Uh, Explain their pathogenesis, discuss their clinical manifestations and complications, identify laboratory diagnostic methods and other means of identifying viruses in human samples, and of course, to discuss treatment, prevention, and control measures if there are any, So let's proceed with our first group of viruses. We have Paramyxoviridae. Okay. And so our Paramyxoviridae includes the viruses mumps and measles, respiratory syncytial viruses, no? Para-influenza viruses as well. Okay, so these are actually causative agents of the most common contagious diseases of childhood, di ba? Like mumps and measles. Okay, and they're also the agents of respiratory syncytial infections, no, that's found in infants and sometimes in young children, no, especially those that are caused by your para-influenza and RSV. Okay, so okay. So mumps and measles become disseminated, no, throughout the body and cause generalized disease. Okay. So initially, nakukuha natin through our respiratory tract, no, when we inhale infectious or contaminated airborne droplets. Okay. Viruses may enter the body through that, and then they would attack, no, and then replicate in the cells of your respiratory epithelia. Okay, and then from there, it can spread through your lymph and your blood vessels, no, your circulating blood. Okay, and cause infections all throughout the body. Okay, kaya nga sabi, generalized disease. So the structure and composition of our Paramyxoviridae are as follows. No? So morphology-wise, they're spherical, no, pleomorphic sometimes. Okay? They may demonstrate various forms. The size is 150 nanometers or more. Okay? They may measure up to 700 nanometers kasi nga because they are pleomorphic. No? So some may be small, some may be medium size, some may really go as large as 700 nanometers. Okay, they are enveloped viruses. No, note that envelopes are not really for protection. No, so these are fragile structures, no? Very labile to several conditions. Okay, and it is prone to distortion in electron micrographs. Gaya nitong nasa picture, di ba? Oh, sira-sira. Hindi deformed yung kanyang shape at mukhang nakatakas na yung kanyang genetic material. Okay, so viral genome, okay, is linear, negative sense, single-stranded, no, non-segmented RNA, okay, and around 15 kilobase pairs. So medyo medium-sized etong si Paramyxoviridae. Okay, so this is how they would look like. Okay, so they have 6 structural proteins that are important in replication. So they have of the 6 structural proteins, 3 of which are complex with viral RNA, no, and this is very important in the early stage of viral replication. Okay, so they have the NLP proteins, no, those that play an important part in nucleocapsid formation, no. One other protein would be part of the polymerase enzyme, and the other one would be phosphoprotein. Okay. Now the remaining 3 proteins would be useful towards the late phase, no, of replication. Okay. So this participates in formation of the viral envelope. So the three proteins include the matrix proteins, okay, the external proteins, hemagglutinin and neuraminidase, okay, and also fusion protein. Okay? So ayan yung kanilang mga proteins, no? The LNP protein, okay, and then the H and N, as well as the fusion and the matrix proteins. Okay, so 6 structural proteins. Now for classification, your Paramyxoviridae is actually divided into two large groups of viruses. We have Paramyxovirinae and Pneumovirinae. Okay, so the Pneumovirinae would include pneumoviruses and metapneumoviruses. Okay, so this, however, are rarely isolated, not as common as Paramyxovirinae groups. So we will not cover that. Okay. Paramyxovirinae, on the other hand, is composed of ano ba? 4 groups of viruses. We have respirovirus, rubella-virus, morbillivirus, and henipaviruses. Okay? Among the 4, rubella-viruses and morbilliviruses are really common. However, etong si henipaviruses is on the rise. No? There are already reported cases of human infections involving this virus, no? Pero still not as common as these two. Okay? So rubella viruses would include the mumps virus plus 2 other para-influenza viruses. Okay? Morbilliviruses, on the other hand, would include rubeola virus or the measles, no? And canine distemper virus, as well as aquatic morbilliviruses. However, these are for animals, no, yung dalawa. So for the purpose of this discussion, we will cover only mumps under rubella and rubeola under morbilliviruses. Okay, so let's proceed. So one of the most common sign of viral infection involving this group is syncytia formation. So their CPE, no, or cytopathic effect when cultured would really show syncytia formation. Okay, so syncytium is single-celled or cytoplasmic mass containing several nuclei formed by fusion or of cells or division of nuclei. Okay, ayan, no? So common din ito for some other group of viruses, pero for paramyxo, talagang ang kanilang common CPE is syncytia formation. Ayan, this one. No? So, di ba, kapisanan ng mga infected cells. Ayan. So, ito nag-uumpisa pa lang. So, ang dami. So, very common CPE for paramyxum. Okay, so let's start with rubella virus, no? Which would include mumps viruses. Okay, so mumps is actually an acute contagious disease, okay, na ipapasa natin. It's characterized by non-suppurative enlargement of one or both salivary glands. Kagaya nitong kay kuya, isang lang, side lang ang affected. But pwedeng both, no, sides can be inflamed as well. Okay, so for adults, napaka-common. It could be common in children, pero pwede rin naman sa adults talaga. Ayan, no? So there are also complications, okay, like meningitis and orchitis. Okay, so actually more than 1/3 of all mumps infections are asymptomatic. Okay, so hindi lahat, no, like the previous infections that we had, like polio, for example, remember? So not everybody who has acquired the virus will manifest the signs and symptoms. Okay, so for mumps, more than a third lang, no? More than a third actually are asymptomatic, but they have acquired the virus. Okay? So if, for example, they are able to spread it to somebody who's susceptible, ayun, baka yung si susceptible ang mag-manifest ng signs and symptoms. Okay? So, incubation period for this one, no, is around 2 to 4 weeks. It could average about 14 to 18 days. Okay, so the virus is shed in the saliva around 3 days, no, before, or 3 days before to about 9 days after the onset of salivary gland swelling. So 3 to 9 days bago makita yung pag-swell ng kanyang salivary glands. Okay? So 1/3 again are asymptomatic, no? So there's actually a difficulty in controlling transmission kasi variable ang incubation period. Of course, again, the virus is present in our saliva, okay? Bago pa ano, no, before clinical symptoms occur. So, nandun na siya. So, hindi natin mamalayan, di ba? So, yung iba asymptomatic. So, dala-dala niya si virus. Okay? Tapos, may nakausap siyang susceptible person. So, pwede nating maipasa doon. Okay? So, for most viral infections, I think basic yung ganong difficulty, no, in controlling transmission, especially pag naipapasa when we're talking, and also because of the variability in incubation periods. Diba may mga 2 to 9, may mga 7 to 14 days, may mga ganong differences. So, variation rather. So, lisod, no? Di ta kakuan kay wala may standard na duration ng incubation period. Okay? So, again, no, papasok sa respiratory tract, no, inhalation of contaminated airborne droplets, spread to the local lymph nodes, so it's from the lymph nodes, di ba? So, madali na lang yung maipasa sa ating spleen, no, other organs, and then maybe once, no, vital organs are hit, it may proceed to or progress to viremia. And then once na mag-viremia na, there's general spread to other organs and other body sites. Okay? So clinical manifestations and complications, again, no, 1/3 of mumps infections are asymptomatic or subclinical. However, no, napakadali namang makita kung may mumps kasi ayan, no, lumalaki yung kanyang tawag nito, cheeks, no, o yung jaw niya, no. So that's the standard symptom for mumps. Okay? So that's the most characteristic feature, okay, of those with symptomatic cases. No? So 50% kaya ganyan. No? So some may have fever, headache, loss of appetite, muscle aches, and tiredness. Again, a basic, no? So malaise and anorexia, no, or loss of appetite is commonly observed during the prodromal period. Okay? So muscle aches, yan, loss of appetite. Tapos afternoon, that will be followed by rapid enlargement of the parotid glands and other salivary glands. Okay? Ayan. So usually again, sa prodromal period natin nakikita. Parang pag nag-start na may muscle aches, tapos nawawalan ng gana, parang ano sila, telltale signs na papunta na dun sa swelling of the salivary glands. Okay? So may mga complications. There are actually many complications for our tawag nito, itong ating mumps. Okay, ang hirap naman. So, ng mnemonics natin for our complications would be mumps. Okay, so M for meningitis, no, aseptic meningitis. This is usually seen more in males than in females, no? So there's CNS involvement. O for orchitis, okay, that's common in adult males, often unilateral, pwedeng isa lang. There are cases where yung dalawang balls may be inflamed, okay? So orchitis, inflammation of your, yun na yun. Okay, so pwedeng isa, pwedeng dalawa. Oophorytis naman, no, sa babae naman, okay, sa kanilang ovaries. Okay? So, it occurs usually in 5% of infected women. Okay. The second M is for meningoencephalitis. Okay, so this one occurs around 5 to 7 days after inflammation of the salivary glands. Okay, and then P for parotitis. Okay, half of the patient will not have clinical evidence, but again, no, parotitis is the most common signs na nakikita natin. And then pancreatitis. Oh, there are some patients, around 4% of the cases, nagpa-positive for pancreatitis. Okay? And then, of course, S, self-limiting ang ating mumps infection. Okay? So, laboratory and diagnostic methods and identification. Serology, of course, pwede pa to, no? Pwede nating i-detect yung antibody rise. Nucleic acid methods, and then viral culture, pwede. Okay? So, under serology, ELISA can detect either mumps-specific IgM or IgG antibody. Okay? And then, syempre, pwede rin naman agglutination inhibition tests. Okay? Nucleic acid detection, syempre, our RT-PCR, no? Most sensitive method used to provide really good information, especially for epidemiologic study. Okay? So, pinaka-sensitive na method si RT-PCR. Of course, viral culture, naku-culture natin si mumps virus, no? So, you can use CSF, saliva, or urine. Okay? Ang ano lang doon is, the virus is actually thermolabile. So, you'll have to inoculate immediately para viable yung ating mga viruses at hindi wasak-wasak. Okay? Of course, immunofluorescence, no? They detect antigens as early as around 2 to 3 days. Okay? In culture, they will show us yung giant cell formation or syncytia formation. Okay? And of course, your hemadsorption test. Okay? So those are the available and useful laboratory methods for viral identification. Okay? And then treatment, prevention, and control. Again, there's no specific therapy. Okay? Immunization with attenuated live mumps virus is the best approach. Meron naman tayong useful vaccine, no? We have the MMR or the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine. So 3-in-1 na siya, guys. Binibigay yan, I think, pag mga around a year old ang bata. 3 doses yan. And then it has a booster pa. Okay? So we have morbillivirus next. So I think, bakit na double L yan? Okay, kindly correct that no. I sit kasi nakaupo ako. I sit corrected. I think parang isang L lang to. Okay, anyway, under morbillivirus, so we have the representative rubiola or the measles virus, or sometimes we call this the hard measles kasi meron tayo ng German measles. Okay? So rubiola or hard measles or plain measles. Yan, no? So it's an acute type of infection, highly infectious again, no? It's characterized by fever, respiratory symptoms, jod, ubo, sipon, meron yan. And syempre, after the fever, lalabas yung maculopapular rashes, no? Complications are also quite common, and sometimes they may be more severe than the primary infection itself. Okay? So, currently, medyo mababa na yung mga cases natin kasi effective yung ating live virus vaccine. Okay? So, it has dramatically reduced the incidence of measles. Okay? So, usually, the virus enters our respiratory tract where it could multiply locally, no? And then from there, it could spread into your regional lymphoid tissues. Okay? And pag nasa lymphoid tissues na natin, ang bilis na lang yan mag-spread into our circulating blood where pwedeng mag-cause ng primary viremia. Okay? So once na mag-start ng increase ang viral load. Okay? This might affect our reticuloendothelial system, no, your spleen, no, your no. And then eventually, no, once na kumalat sa ating reticuloendothelial system, it could produce, no, the secondary viremia, where mag-spread na talaga. The spread would reach the epithelial surfaces of the body, hence the rashes. Okay? So the events during incubation period usually lasts around 8 to 5 days, but pwede namang umabot hanggang 3 weeks sa adults. Okay? Your measles virus can actually replicate in certain lymphocytes, okay, that would be responsible for the fast spread throughout the body. Ayan. So, basta paramix, so common nga yung ating CPE na syncytia, no? Giant cell or syncytia. So, ito yung ating, naalala pa ba? Ano ito? So, this is our Warthin-Finkeldy, no? So, multinucleated giant cells with intranuclear inclusion. So, very commonly seen in lymphoid tissues ng mga infected individuals. Yan. So, ayan ang itsura ng measles, no? So, patients at this stage, no, are usually contagious, no? Yung prodromal phase, may ubos-sipon, contagious na sila niyan. So, first 2 to 5 days of rashes din, ayan, contagious din ang pasyente at that time. Okay? So, day 14, pwedeng lumabas yung mga maculopapular rash. O bakit matagal? Siyempre may incubation period pa, di ba? Oh. So, and then magfi-fever pa yan. So, ang macular rashes natin lumalabas after masettle yung fever, no? So, maculopapular rashes appear. Yan ang itsura, no? They usually start from uh, the hairline, and then they move towards the center, and then pababa. Okay? Oh. So, also, during this time, pag appear ng rash, there are already detectable circulating antibodies, no? And yung viremia nawawala or tapos yung fever nawawala na rin once na lumabas yung mga rashes. Okay. So another common sign of measles is the presence of Koplik spots. Ayan, parang mga maliliit na unsa na kanang luas, no, nagagmay. So mura siya sa bunganga yan, sa buccal cavity o sa sides ng cheeks. Ayan, no. So pero madami, maliliit lang, gagmay na luas. So Koplik spots ang tawag doon. So whitish center. Okay? Reddish margin, whitish center. Okay? So, almost always symptomatic, Jud. Okay? For non-immune host, symptomatic talaga. So, lumalabas yung mga rashes. Incubation period, 8 to 15 days. So, during the prodromal phase, no? Ang prodromal phase would be parang, last few hours of the lag phase and yung first few hours ng or first half ng logarithmic phase. Yan, no? So patients may experience fever, sneezing, coryza, no? O yung runny nose, coughing, or redness of the eyes, conjunctivitis. May photophobia, no? Ayaw sa maliwanag yung mga may measles. Koplik spots, lymphopenia, and rashes. Okay? So, your Koplik spots are pathognomonic for measles. Okay? So, small bluish-white ulcerations nasa buccal mucosa. Okay? Ayan, no? So, mag-start ang rashes from the hairline, and it would move towards the center of the face, down to the torso, and then sa limbs. Okay? So fever, mag-persist talaga siya until the rash appears, no? So mag-subside ang fever within 1 to 2 days. And then may ubo, may 3C, no? May cough, may conjunctivitis, may coryza. Okay? and then may Koplik spots. Yan. So the rashes may appear individual at first, but later on they would coalesce to produce blotches, parang as one big rash. Okay? And then eventually nagba-brown sila. Pag malaya na ang rashes. And then pag nawala yun, okay, mawala first from the limbs to the torso to the face to the hair. Pabaliktad pag nawala. Okay? So other manifestations or complications of your uh, measles would be otitis media. Yeah, no? So this is the most common complication talaga for measles. Okay? And then pneumonia. Okay, so there are two types na pwedeng makos. No? Pneumonia caused by secondary bacterial infection. Okay, so most common life-threatening complication of measles ito. And then pwede rin namang giant cell pneumonia, which is also a serious complication in children and adults, especially those with deficiencies in cell-mediated immunity. Yan, no? And then, syempre, pwede rin namang magkaroon ng encephalitis. Okay? So may 4 types of measles-induced encephalitis. Okay? So we have primary measles encephalitis. We have acute post-infectious measles encephalomyelitis. Okay? We have measles inclusion body encephalitis and the subacute sclerosing panencephalitis. Okay? So they're actually uncommon, hindi naman parating nangyayari, but these would often result in severe disability or deaths. No? See, primary measles encephalitis usually occur in 1 to 3 patients in about 1,000 children contracting the measles. No? Yun, pwede silang mag-develop ng encephalitis na kasabay or concurrent with the measles infection. And then sa ano naman, sa APME, no? So APME usually occurs in 1,000 children with measles. No? So they would develop within 2 to 30 days after measles infection. And then yung last two forms natin, si MIBE and SSPE, occur after acute phase of the infection. Si MIBE is mainly reported in immunosuppressed patients, no? Generally 6 months after measles virus infection. Si SSPE naman, it occurs after 1 to 10 years. Yan ha, in previously healthy patients. Okay? So, iba-iba yung kanilang style. Pero ang pinaka-severe talaga itong si SSPE. Okay? So, after may mga cases na 10 years after the primary infection, saka pa nakita yung complication. So, as mentioned earlier, pinaka-grabe gining si SSPE, no? Very rare, late complication, may occur an average of 10 years. So, it could begin insidiously, no? Hinay-hinay, parang wala lang talaga. 5 to 15 years after measles. Especially pag immune compromise, no? The patient is in a state of low immunity, no? Baka meron siyang underlying conditions or nagkasakit na medyo hindi agad napatreat, pwedeng lumabas or ma-reactivate ang measles virus and may cause this one, no? SSPE. Okay? So it's characterized by progressive mental deterioration, involuntary movements, muscular rigidity, and in some cases, macomatose. So I remember one time sa Lingkod Bayan yata yun. So pinakita 14 years old siya. So nagkaroon siya ng mga early childhood, 4 years old or 3 years old, nagka-measles. Oh, tapos nung nag 4 years old siya, edi ano na high school na yun, di ba? Oh. Nag-ano siya, nag 14 years old, bigla siyang nagka-high fever. Hmm. Tapos ngayon, during that time of the interview, as in, vegetable na yung bata. Sayang. Hmm. Grabe, 'di ba? Murag nahanaw ang tunga. Oh, 'di ba nandito yung anong part dito? Yung yung sa mata, 'di ba? Hmm. I forgot that structure. Basta dito yung mag-cross yung uh, mag-cross yung nerves for the eyes. Tapos nawala, no? Kuyawa. Hmm? Nahirang itsura. Okay? So, we really need to be careful. Okay? Pag may mga viral infections na ganito, nakakatakot. Okay? Also, by the way, the other term pala for SSPE is Dawson disease. Okay? So, 1 in 25,000 children with measles may develop subacute sclerosing panencephalitis. Okay? So 1 in 25,000 or 1 in uh, 1 in 5,500 children under 1 year of age. Low yan, no? Okay? So, clinical manifestations, no, ng ating complications rather. So kanina, mumps. Yung kay mumps, 'di ba, ang kanyang ang mnemonic sa atin mumps. Dito naman measles comp ang ating mnemonic for the complications. So, measles, and then the first M would be myocarditis, E, encephalitis, A, appendicitis. May mga cases of appendicitis, no? Na trigger during or were noted or observed during measles. And then S for SSPE, L for laryngitis, E for early death, S for severe diarrhea, C for corneal ulcer, O for otitis media, M for mesenteric lymphadenitis, and P for pneumonia. Di ba? So, measles comp, ang mnemonics nato for the measles. Yan. Okay? So, what do we do in the laboratory? Okay, so we can perform antigen and nucleic acid detection via RT-PCR, no? Really sensitive method. You can use a variety of clinical samples. Of course, you can also culture your samples. So isolation and identification of the virus by culture. The best time to collect would be during the febrile period. So habang nagfi-fever ang pasyente, yan, doon ka mag-collect. Pwede kang mag-gather ng nasopharyngeal samples, conjunctival swabs, blood samples, respiratory samples, and of course, urine. Okay? And syempre, okay, for culture, it would be good to use human kidney cells or lymphoblastoid cell lines. Okay? They're quite optimal for isolation. And syempre, pwede rin yung shell vial culture. Okay? The shell vial culture would just utilize parang small tubes and then a small lens, no? A lens plate na parang ano lang, ang kanyang width or size is just the size ng mouth ng test tube na gagamitin mo. So, yun lang, no? Tapos, ihuhulog yun dun sa bottom ng tube. And then, para dun humiga yung monolayer of your cell culture. Okay? So, shell vial culture. Okay? Tapos, what else? Serology. So, sa serology, it depends on a fourfold rise in antibody titer. So, pwede yung pinaka-practical is ELISA. And then, of course, you can still use yung hemagglutination inhibition test. And, of course, neutralization test. Okay? So, we have the vaccine for that, no? Yung attenuated live measles vaccine. Kasama din dun sa MMR. Okay? And then, pwede rin daw yung vitamin A treatment, no? So, ang tawag nito, pag susceptible groups, so vaccination would be the best preventive measure, or meron tayong Ano 'no, puwede kasing ano, puwedeng ito yung mga risk factors na ano pala, na puwedeng ma-encounter natin. So, meron talagang, ah, population na hindi nabibigyan ng bakuna 'no, for several reasons 'no. Included na rin yung, ah, pagka-immune compromise 'no. Mahirap na immune compromise ta's babakunahan mo. Tapos live attenuated pa, baka mamaya manifest sa kanya yung infection. So, may mga cases na hindi natin nababakunahan, okey? Minsan din, lumalabas kahit na nabakunahan ng first 3 doses dahil hindi nagpa-booster, aba, lumabas ang measles, 'no? I think around 5 years ago, basta pre-pandemic, 'no, there were several students sa school na nagka-measles, 'no, mga sunod-sunod yun sila. Tapos sabi naman nagpabakuna naman daw, pero probably na-miss yung booster, kaya yan 'no. So, to prevent vaccination talaga 'no, follow on vaccination, 3 doses and a booster. Usually, the booster is given after a year na makumpleto yung 3 bakuna, okay. And then puwede rin naman din yung vitamin A treatment daw, okay. So, kung may mga underlying conditions, i-boost lang ang immune system with vitamin A treatment. It is said to decrease the mortality and morbidity in patients 'pag nagka-ano sila, nagka-measles infection, okay. So, it's good here sa atin sa ano natin, sa developing country gaya ng Pilipinas, okay. And then we have Togaviridae, no? So for the second group of viruses, we have Togaviridae. Okay? So under Togaviridae, we have German measles or rubella virus. Okay? So note, si ano kanina, si measles virus or rubiola is under paramyxo. And rubella or German measles is under Togaviridae. Okay? So again, your German measles is a member of the Togaviridae family. It's the only member of the genus Rubivirus under Togaviridae, and humans are the only known host. It is known to cause 2 types of infection. We have the postnatal rubella o yung ipinanganak na. Okay? Saka nagkaroon ng rubella. And meron din naman tayong congenital rubella. Okay? Caused by uh, or often seen in pregnant moms, no? So yung buntis ang nagka-German measles, kaya yan. Okay? So for postnatal rubella, this usually affects neonates, mga children, and adults alike. Okay? So your mucosa of the upper respiratory tract is the usual site for viral replication. Okay? And then incubation period may last 12 days or more. Okay. Viremia, on the other hand, would develop after 7 to 9 days and may last until antibodies will appear. Okay. So usually, rise in antibody will coincide with the appearance of the rashes. So similar kanina, di ba? So paglabas ng rashes, alam nating pwede na nating ma-detect ang antibodies. Okay, so dito tayo sa pathogenesis. So si rubella virus may enter the body via your inhaled contaminated airborne droplets. So they would infect your upper respiratory tract, no? The cells in your upper respiratory tract. Okay, it would multiply there, and then eventually it would spread out to your regional lymph nodes. No? And from there, madali na lang masyadong mag-spread kung saan-saan. So, pwede rin silang mag-spread sa ating nasopharynx. Okay? And then, afterwards, no, pag well-distributed na yung mga virus natin, they may establish in the skin in the form of, tawag nito yung in the form of rashes. Okay? So dito sa rubella or German measles, meron din tayong nakikitang mga Forchheimer spots. Okay? So ang Forchheimer spots are found there, no, sa ngala-ngala unlike the Koplik spots earlier, na murag kuan, di ba ang Koplik spots, mura siya gluas. Okay? Reddish ang kanyang margin, pero bluish white ang center, or just white ang center. Kani, just rose red or rose pink spots that you see. Okay? Even in, tawag to in mist-cells, sometimes you also see Forchheimer spots sa bunganga, no, sa ngala-ngala. Pero note that the difference between the two of them is that um, si Koplik, okay, mayroong whitish spots sa gitna. Si Forchheimer, wala. Parang siyang petechial spots. Okay? So, pula-pula lang yun siya. Okay? And then, aside sa Forchheimer spots in the mouth, rashes will start to develop on the skin. Okay? So, viruses can be found on the skin. They may be detected in the blood and even in our respiratory tract. Okay? So, usually, okay, your German measles may begin with malaise, no, low-grade fever, and of course, morbilliform rashes that will appear at the same day. Okay, so the rash begins on the face, and then it would spread to the trunk and extremities, lasting no more than 3 days. Okay, so your rubella antibodies appear in the serum of patients as the rash fades. Okay. Tapos ang antibody titer natin, they would rise rapidly over the next 1 to 3 weeks. No? So wala namang masyadong problema pag postnatal ang rubella. Okay? So not necessarily or not really fatal or severe, except of course pag immune compromised ang pasyente. Okay? So laboratory methods, no, we can do serology. Let me see na lang to. You can do, wait lang. So, pwedeng-pwede serology, no? We do hemagglutination inhibition. Sorry po, nalagyan na C. So, hemagglutination inhibition, ELISA. Pwede rin naman tayong mag-culture. Okay? So, we can do culture for, tawag nito, for rubella virus. You know, generally the same as how we do culture with our measles virus. Okay? For serology, which is quite commonly used, no, in most laboratories, so we do hemagglutination inhibition test and ELISA. Of course, PCR. Okay. So the second infection or syndrome would be congenital rubella. Okay? So eto, nasa loob pa ng uterus, no, yung baby, okay? Fetus pa. Okay, so may mga problema. Ito may malaking problema. For postnatal, no, na ipanganak na, hindi masyado severe ang infection. However, pag nasa loob pa ng uterus, severe siya. Okay? So, rubella virus infection in the early weeks. Again, pag nasa first trimester of pregnancy, di agad akong problema. Okay? So, pag nasa third trimester naman, di naman din siya masyadong nakaka-cause ng severe problems. No? Sabi ko nga kaya ni Sharon Cuneta, no? Sharon Cuneta had German measles nung binubuntis niya si Casey. Pero she was on her third trimester already. Okay? And so, di ba, normal naman si Casey. Okay, walang problem. So the problem sits when yung pregnant woman is in her early weeks of pregnancy, first trimester. Okay, so what happens is that because of the virus, there will be accumulation of vitamin A in the liver. And why is that a problem? Usually, if there's so much vitamin A, it could cause liver damage. Okay? And sometimes it could lead to cholestasis. What's that? No? Cholestasis is, of course, the slowing down or stalling of bile flow through our biliary system. So naundang, hindi na mo flow ang bile. No? So lisod na siya. Okay, so this would lead to spillage of retinoic acids in the bile, and then magli-leak yung esters, no, retinyl esters sa circulating blood, no, galing dun sa na-damage na hepatocytes. So this would also not be really good for surrounding tissues. It would damage mitochondria, no, and would lead to apoptosis. And of course, there would be genetic alterations. Okay? So, summa total nun would be congenital rubella syndrome. Okay? Now, the clinical manifestations for rubella, no? Congenital rubella would be the following. So, meron tayo nung classic triad. Okay? Pag sinabing classic triad, sa lahat ng mga pasyenteng may congenital rubella, naagyud ni silang tulo. So, the baby, the infant would develop cataracts, malamang mabungol, no, ang bata, and there could be cardiac abnormalities. The worst case na nakita ko is meron siyang tetralogy of Fallot, no, yung isang bata na ipinanganak na may congenital, tawag nito, congenital rubella. Okay? So, cataracts, deafness, and cardiac abnormalities. Okay? Now, yung kanyang transient symptoms, no, pwedeng mawala through time. This would include growth retardation, rashes, hepatosplenomegaly, so that could be treated, okay? Jaundice, and pinaka-fatal sa kanyang transient symptoms is meningoencephalitis. So, inflammation of the meninges and the brain itself. Okay? So, we have again the classic symptoms. All three of them are mostly present. No? So, cataracts, deafness, and cardiac abnormalities, classic triad, and we have the transient symptoms. Okay? So there's no specific treatment, no, for rubella, okay? Pero meron naman tayong napaka-effective na preventive measure, which is the bakuna, no, the vaccine, MMR, okay? Measles, mumps, rubella. They may be quite expensive kasi nga 3-in-1, di ba? Okay? I think ngayon nga meron na siyang may kasama ng iba pa, no, para maisa na lang yung kanyang bakuna. Okay? So this usually comes, kung MMR lang siya, this usually comes in 3 doses plus a booster again. Okay? So measles, mumps, rubella. Okay, so that ends our really short lecture video for part 2 of this week's topic. Okay? So again, mag-study ha. O dili na mag-message ako, ano ma, mag-quiz ba ta? Mag-quiz ta next meeting natin. So, coverage for the quiz will be part 1 and part 2 for of the discussion. Okay, so yung ating F2F and itong ating lecture video kasama. Okay? See you!